callers. Welcome back again to Learning with Miss A. I'm so glad you're joining me today. For today's lesson, we're going to look at a few words and we're going to see how we can change the beginning sound to make a new word. And we're also going to look at key details and main ideas when we're reading a text, especially when we read an informational text. So for today's lesson, you're going to need, again, your pencil and your book. And if you had a book before, just keep up with that book so that all of the lessons we do, you have it to work with. Or you could use a dry erase board, which is really nice, and a marker. Today I have 3, and of course my handy dandy socks works very well for wiping your board. So gather your materials and let's get started. So I talked to you about how we're going to make words, and we're going to start off with this word. You know what that word is? What's that word? He. That's right, that word is he. I could change that to we by just changing that first letter. So when I take that H away and I bring my W, now I have we. Very good. We. Can we say that word? We. How about this word? He, like he is a boy. We can play. I can even change it. Now I'm adding another letter. What do you think that is? If that one was we before, now it's what? Me. Yes. My sister gave me a toy. Me. Very good. All right. Now let's try another one. I'm going to make a word. I'm going to make not a word yet, but just a part of this word. It's et. Et. Can we say et? Et. Now if I put a G in front of it, let's chunk it. G. Et. What's that? Get. What if I take the P away, the G away, and I bring in a P? What is it now? P. Et. Pet. Very good. Very good. Let's try something else. This time around, we're going to take our E away, our vowel sound, and we're going to put in a O. Now we have ought. We had et before, but now we have ought. Very good. Ought. So with ought, if I put in an N over there, what do I have now? Yes, not. Not, and I can still bring back my G, and I have what? Got. I got a new bike for my birthday. Got. G-ought. Got. Some of these words is easier for you to also sound out with your hands. So starting from the top going ought, got. For that word, you'll be able to sound it out that way. But for me and we and he, those are some of your sight words that you've been learning about. All right, now let's try another one. Let's try the L. Lot. I have a lot of toys. Lot. Very good. So we have some words that we wrote. Can you spell now? I'm going to spell one of the words that we have, and I want you to help me spell the other 2 words. So we had the word he. He is a boy. Now help me spell we. Yes, that's correct. W-E, we. Can you help me spell me? Yes, M-E, me. He, we, me. Now I'm also going to do one more. And let's stay with the E's. Let's add the et. Can we say et? What if I put a P there? What is that now? P-et. Pet. Or we can say p-et. Pet. Now I use both ways because you never know which one would stick with you. You might prefer sounding each of them out as p-et, pet, or it might be easier for you to say p-et, pet. All right, let's try another one. If I put a G in front of et, what is that? et, get. And let's try one more. What's that? S, et, set, or s, et, set. Very good. You think you can write a sentence with any of these words? Go ahead and try to write a sentence in your book or in your dry erase board. Try to write a sentence with any of these words. Just pick one of them and write a sentence with it. So before we start talking about main ideas and details, we're going to talk about the letter B and the sound that it makes. What does the letter B look like? You found it somewhere? Where? Oh, on the board. It's already on the board. Well, the letter B makes the sound B. B. Can we make that sound? B. Now take your lips, put them in between your teeth. Now kind of push it right out, but make sure you're making a sound with it. Otherwise, you'll be saying B. Okay? So let's try. B. Make the sound B. One more time. B. Very good. So let's get our fingers up in the air. Are you ready to write it? Let's go. Down, around, and around. One more time. Let's write that uppercase B. Down, around, and around. Now let's write lowercase b. Are you ready? We go down, back up to the middle, and curve around. One more time. Down, up to the middle, and curve around. Now it's time to put it on our line. Upper and lowercase b's always touch your top line and your bottom line. So are you ready? We're going to start with an uppercase B. Start from the top. Get your fingers right with me. Or maybe you can write it in your book when I'm done. But right now, I want you to look at the board. Write it up with your finger. Ready? Here you go. Down, around. We're going to stop on that middle line. Good. Now follow that line. Go around to the bottom line and touch the bottom. One more time. Let's do it again. Down, come to the top, around to the middle line, and around to the bottom line. Awesome. Let's do it one more time. Now you write it with me. Go. Down, around to the middle, and around to the bottom line. Very good. Now let's write the lowercase b. Are you ready? Get your hands up. We're going to write it in the air one more time before we write it in the lines. Go. Down, up to the middle, and around. One more time. Down, up to the middle, and around. Now let's write it in the line. Lowercase b starts in that top line. It's going to end up in the bottom line, but then when we come up back on that line, remember when we go down on that line, we're going to go right back up on that line. We're not going to go down on that line and go up on a different line, because then our B will look like this. And sometimes it just doesn't look very good, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's start on the top. Go down. Follow that line up to the middle line and curve around. Make sure you touch the bottom and touch that line. Don't leave that line open. Don't go up and leave it this way, because then it looks like an H. Okay, all right, let's do it one more time. Ready, go. Down, up to the middle, and around. Last one. Down, up to the middle, and around. All right, so you can practice writing these B's and writing words that start with B, or even a sight word that starts with B. But I have a couple pictures that start with B. My first picture is something that mommies carry, and they change them and they feed them. Did you say baby? Was that what you said? Yes, that's correct. Baby. Baby starts with a B. Baby. Okay, my other picture is something that has two wheels, and you ride it this way. Sometimes you have training wheels on it, and you hold onto it, and your leg goes around and around and around and around. Write it with me. Write it with me. Everybody riding? Don't go anywhere. Just stay right there. Did you say a bike? Yes, make that sound. Bike. That's correct. I have a bike. Bike. Now that is a silent E. Bike. Silent E. Right, we're gonna put it right there. Okay, I have two more pictures. I have a picture that goes on the river and people go in it and sometimes they can fish from it. Starts with a B. Is it a ship? No. It starts with a B. Yes, it's a boat. Boat. Very good. Our last picture is a picture that you go out and there's a ball and they hold it like this, and when the ball comes, we take that thing and we hit the ball and then we run and do a home run. Did you say bat? Yes, it is a bat. Bat. Now there's another kind of bat that flies in the air and it sleeps all day and is awake at night and it hangs upside down. That's an animal, same spelling, bat. But I have a picture today with the one that you hold. Good job. So let's go through our pictures one more time. Baby, say it with me. Say it after me. Baby, boat, bike, bat. Practice writing those letters. So talking about the letter B and putting that bat on the board reminded me about a song that I've heard before. Well, Brandon and Ruth are here from McGraw-Hill Education, and they're going to take you through this song. Now, you might need a little bit of space, but wait, if you don't have space, that's okay. They will tell you exactly what to do. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm going to move my chair because I'm ready.
Hi everybody, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Ruth.
And today we're going to be performing the song Play Ball. Now, if you have more space, you can follow me because I'm going to be doing some of the moves real big. If you have less space, then you can see that Ruth is going to be doing some of the modifications. So follow her if you don't have as much room. So here we go, play ball!
So today, I have something in my hand. Do you know what it is? That's right, it's an apple. I want to just tell you a little bit about my apple. My apple is red. It has a stem. It grows from a tree. And it's white inside. Apples are juicy. I'm going to tell you my story again. Ready? My apple is red. It has a stem. It grows on a tree. It's white inside and it's juicy. So today we're talking about the details and the main idea. We're going to focus on the details. Now, what do you think is the main idea of that little story I just told you? I gave you some information about my apple. What is the main idea? Yes, could we say all about my apple? Or we could even just say my apple or the apple. So let's write it right here, the apple. The apple. Now, what are some of the things that I told you about my apple? Yes, I said it was red. Now remember, all of those things that I said has to do with my apple. The main idea is what the story or the text is mostly about. So what is the main idea? It is what the story or the text is mostly about. Right now, my text or my story, my little story I told you about my apple, is all about an apple. It's not about an apple tree, is it? No, I did not really talk much about an apple tree. Now, I mentioned an apple tree. Now, do you think it's all about red things? No, I didn't even talk about a red car. I didn't talk about a red strawberry. All I talked about was an apple. So my main idea could have not been the red things or an apple tree, but I could have it about I could say the apple. So my main idea is the apple. Now, what are the details about my story? Details, the key details tells about the main idea. So what do key details do? They tell about the main idea. Can you say it with me? Key details tell about the main idea. Very good. My main idea is the apple. If you know the main idea, it helps you tell more about what the key details will be. It helps you understand the text better. So what are my details? I'm going to go back to my little story. I have an apple. Apples are red. It has a stem. It grows on a tree. It's white inside, and my apple is juicy. So what are some details you had? What are some things I told you about my apple? Did I say my apple was green? No, I said my apple was red. So one of the details is that my apple is red. So I can just put a red color right here. Or I can even write it in a sentence. I can say the apple is red. The apple is red. I could use just a picture to show what my detail was, or I could even have a sentence. A sentence helps me so I can go back and read it. What else did I tell you about my apple? Yes, I told you my apple has a stem. So for this one, I'm going to draw my red apple, but I'm really going to focus on the stem because that was one of my details. I already told you my apple was red, but I really want to talk about this stem. Maybe I can use labels now to tell you more about my picture. So here we're talking about the stem. Stem. So I could just use it because now I know we're talking about the apple. It has a stem. ST makes the sound M. When I chunk my words, it makes it easier for me to spell. So the apple is red. The apple has a stem. One more detail. What else did you hear about the apple? Oh, yes, that it's white inside. Oh, I heard somebody else. Yes, that it also grows on a tree. Very good. So that could be my last detail. It could be that it grows on a tree. And I could have a tree. Sometimes the pictures may not work, but it seems my pictures work this time. And I write a sentence about it, that it grows on a tree. It, starting with a capital, it grows on a tree. So my little graphic organizer here helps me arrange my ideas, my main idea, and my key details. Remember, main idea is what the story is mostly about, and the details tells about the main idea. So what was my main idea? Yes, the apple. What is one of the details? That the apple is red, and another detail is that the apple has a stem. And what's the other detail? Yes, the apple grows on a tree. Speaking of trees, I have a story for you today. And my story today tells about a tree. And it's going to give me a lot of details about this tree. The title of my story today is The Grand Old Tree. A Grand Old Tree by Mary Newell DePalma. When I look at the cover of a story, I see a tree, I see animals living on it. Kind of gives me an idea that this tree might be home to many animals, or maybe the animals will play in it. Let's listen. Once there was a grand old tree. Her roots sank deep into the earth. Her arms reached high into the sky. So I'm thinking about all the details about this tree. What are some details you've heard so far? Yes, the roots are sinking into the earth, and the arms, which are the branches of the tree, are reaching high into the sky. She was home to many creatures. Birds nested among her branches. Squirrels scurried through her leaves. Caterpillars and ladybugs crawled about. So what is on this tree? Yes, there are animals. And the tree, what is the tree providing for these animals? That's correct. The grand oak tree is providing a home for many animals. The grand oak tree flowered, bore fruit, and sowed seeds. She had many children. So I'm looking right here and I can see that the fruits are falling and those seeds are coming right out of the fruit right here. And it's telling me that the tree had many children. What is growing from those seeds? That's correct. A little tree, a young tree is coming right out. They changed the landscape for miles around, perhaps even farther than the old tree knew. The grand old tree lived a long, long time. She basked in the sun, baked in the rain, swayed in the breeze, and danced in the wind. She grew and shed many millions of leaves. At last, the grand old tree was very, very old. Her branches no longer swayed and danced, but cracked and snapped in the wind. Finally, she fell, and snow gently covered her. So there goes that grand old tree. The old tree died. She no longer flowered, bore fruits, or sowed seeds. But she was still home to many creatures. Raccoons nested in her trunk. Centipedes crawled along her branches, and lichen grew on her back. The grand old tree slowly crumbled. She became part of the earth. Today, the roots of her grandchildren sink deep into this earth. Their arms reach high into the sky. They are home to many creatures. Just like the grand old tree. I just love how that story started with a grand old tree, and it was home to many animals, and it had flowers and fruits, and those fruits had seeds in it that became new young trees for miles and miles away. And it also ended up with those young trees becoming homes to many animals, just like the grand old tree. So reading that story just made me think about this tree and all of the things that happened in that tree. Maybe one day my tree right in my backyard might become a grand old tree. It once had flowers and now it has fruits, and those fruits have seeds in them. They might end up growing somewhere. Think about the details in that story. What happened? Can you write about it? Can you tell me the animals that lived in that tree? Right now I have a bee that lives in this tree. I hope you enjoyed that story. Well, scholars, that is it for today. We talked about the letter B. We talked about words and how you can change the beginning letter or the beginning sound in a word to make a new word. We talked a lot about the main idea and key details. Now remember, the main idea is what the text is mostly about, and the key details tell about the main idea, which is the main topic. Don't forget about my apple and how I told you all the things, all the details about my apple. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you join me next time for more learning.